ran across the person. We got our casualty flipped over from their stomach to their back. Now we want to start evaluating them and seeing further what's wrong with them. All right. The first thing we want to check and make sure they're not hemorrhaging. What a hemorrhage is a major loss of blood. There's 3 different types of bleeding. There's capillary bleeding, there's venous bleeding, and then there's arterial bleeding. So I'll explain what arterial bleeding is. Arterial bleeding is bleeding that's coming from the heart to the body. Okay, sending it out to the legs, the knees, the elbows, whatever what might have you. The veins, the blood coming from the body back to the heart, through the lungs, and send it back through the heart. So veins just bring the blood there. With capillaries, a little small little vessels in between. Okay, so we'll call that like a driveway or alley. Okay, so if you cut yourself like that, there's going to be a small bleeding that kind of stands on the skin. Venous bleeding is going to be a constant flow. That's going to be like the streets that you're driving up and down. All right, so there's going to be a constant flow of traffic. Arterial bleeding is bringing the blood from the heart to the body. And since the heart beats and it pumps, right, that blood can't be coming smoothly, can it? It has to be getting pumped because the heart is a pump of every, you know what I mean? So it is coming through just like the water hose. If you squeeze the water hose and keep letting it go, the water's going to spurt out each time, right? So it stands to reason arterial bleeding is going to come with pumps. So when you ran across this person, you just flip them over. And the type of bleeding that you're seeing coming out of this person, the arterial bleeding, is pumping. The blood's going to be deep, dark red too because it's got oxygen in it coming from the heart. And that's the bleeding that you need to stop immediately. Okay, and that's going to normally happen from one of the extremities. You can't really do anything. You can't tourniquet the trunk, so there's no need to even explain that. Okay, so when you run across this person, one thing that might could have happened, they could have been amputated, which means they lost a limb. The arm came off. They got hit by a car. I got an uncle that got hit by a car when he was a kid, and he lost a leg. So that can happen. So we don't just want to stand in the street and get our phones and oh my God, let me share this, you know what I mean? Or we either stand there and not know what to do. We're going to go ahead and apply some type of medical aid to this person and try to save their life. And this is one way that you can do it, is to apply a tourniquet. Alright, so this is what in the military, this is a military tourniquet. Alright, there's different civilian type of tourniquets and things like that as well, but this is a military tourniquet right here. So you're going to take this tool right here. It has a couple ends on the side. Alright. Got some ends on the side. Alright. You're going to take this. You're going to put it the smooth side to the skin. Alright. And feed it through the bottom feed hole on the belt. Just like you would any other buckle device. Pull it through the top one. And that's how, and then you're gonna pull it, feed it through and tighten up until you get it where you need it as tight as you want. Alright? Pull it through once it's good and tight. Alright, once you pull that through, you can connect that Velcro right there, do whatever you're going to do with it. Now you need to turn this rod. You can continue to turn this rod. As you turn this rod, it's going to tighten up this tourniquet. Keep turning it. Once you get to a certain point where you feel like the tourniquet is good and tight enough to where it's stopping that blood and you don't see that blood pumping out of that open wound. It's not pumping that big, thick red blood out anymore. That's a good point to stop. Maybe one more half twist after that. Okay, and you get it. You're gonna lock it in place. There's some ends on here. Okay, so now we're looking at each other and we're like, okay, but we're not in the military. We're not gonna have any military tourniquets with us. What are we gonna do? What other type of things is that we can use in place of this tool right here? Okay, so we look at this right here and we see what things that we might have on our person. If you're out in the streets, you might be able to use in place of this to save somebody's life.
You can use the shirt you're wearing.
Okay, a shirt. You can use a shirt. What would you have to do with that shirt?
You have to rip it.
Rip it, okay.
You could, if you got a belt around your waist.
A belt is a very good idea because look at this piece right here. What else could you use? sock as well, shoestring, anything like that. The point is that you bind, that you restrict the blood from passing beyond the tourniquet. Say for instance, I'm cut from here, so I'm cut mid shin. Okay, that's where I lost everything from there. Now, you're gonna have to apply the tourniquet 2 to 4 inches above where I'm cut at. Okay, and then you stop me from bleeding that way. That's gonna save my life. Okay, now say for instance, my cut's a little bit higher though. My cut's about 2 inches below my knee. Then what can I do? Because now the cut is 3 inches below my knee. So now I'm cut off from here somehow. All right. Now this tourniquet is gonna be right on my knee according to what the placement guy, right? And when I place it right on my knee, it's not gonna stop anything. My knee's gonna stop this tourniquet from doing the job that it's trying to do, which is stopping me from bleeding to death. Okay, so that won't work. You can never apply a tourniquet over a joint, over the joints of your knees and your elbows. The same concept applies if you're cut off here. You apply this tourniquet the same way. Okay, so with that being said, you're gonna have to apply the tourniquet higher, and a higher soft spot to where the tourniquet can do what job it is they're planning to do. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna try to put it, since it should really be the knee, you're gonna try to put it the closest place to the knee, okay, that is possible, as close to the knee as possible without it being the knee. The reason for that being, once you apply this tourniquet, you're not gonna take it off anymore. What's gonna happen is any portion of their body beyond that tourniquet, on the other side of the tourniquet that you stop blood from going to, they're gonna lose that portion of their body. So you're gonna try to save as much as humanly possible on them if you can. Okay, and I'm sure they'll appreciate that. The last part about applying a tourniquet, okay, is say for instance, I'm amputated mid-thigh, not mid-thigh or higher than mid-thigh. I'm amputated there. I'm like, oh man, so now you needed a tourniquet on me, right? And there's not very much room. Remember, this is a part of your body where you have a artery, a major artery called your femoral artery that's coming down the feet, all of this leg down here, this leg, right? Then you got a femoral artery on this side too to feed all of that leg. That's a big part of your body. So that's the main water hose that's running through, bringing the main water to hit everything else to fill up in that leg, okay? So I'm cut up this high, and now I got that main water hose coming too, right? So and there's a bigger artery too, because it's bringing big heat, right? So that one, what am I gonna do in that situation? Gotta put the tourniquet high, right? All right. But at the same time, to put it high, I gotta stop the bleeding to get it on this person, right? Yeah. Because there's gonna be steady bleeding, and there's only one way to stop that bleeding. If they're injured at this point and above, you're gonna have to get here with your knee in that crease of the body. There's a crease of the body between the pelvis, male or female. You're gonna have to take this part of your leg, the top part of your shin bone, and press it in that area. Again, that crease where the pelvis separates from the leg. You're gonna press that leg there, that part of that bone there as hard as you can, put all your weight there on that person. They're gonna hurt like hell, right? And remember, for males, there's other considerations as well, but again, we're trying to save their life, and hopefully maybe they're not just there where we're trying to go anyway. Okay, so you're gonna press all your energy there, all your weight there, stop that artery from pumping blood, so that you can get time to apply that tourniquet and tighten it up. Once you get that tourniquet on there and you tighten that tourniquet up, you do not take that tourniquet off. You let official medical people take it back off. So now I need y'all to explain it back. Jeff, you have here high calf, let's say 3 inches below the knee, and the Marion you have, let's say mid thigh.
Alright, so my victim is cut 3 inches below the knee, and so you want to place a tourniquet about 2 to 4 inches above where you need to amputate at, but you can't place it on the knee because that's not going to do anything. You're just going to bleed out to death.
Okay, so in a joint, because it's hard, so it won't allow that tourniquet to compress that meat and squeeze that artery. The point is to stop the artery from letting blood through, like the water hose, right? All right. So Mariana, you got mid thigh.
Alright, so now, say if you were tragically cut mid thigh, about right here to be exact, you can't
put the tourniquet right here on your cut, so you gotta put your tourniquet like all the way right here, and it's gonna be a little hard to get the tourniquet on there, so you will have to use like your knee to like bear down on right here to get the tourniquet on correctly.
Bear down where? Where?
So your knee is gonna wanna, you're gonna wanna bear down with your knee right here, and it's gonna hurt because that's like a
So
bunch
you bear,
of pressure.
you're bearing down with your shin bone, okay?
Oh.
This bone right here, this shin bone. You want to get this shin bone in between that pelvis bone
Oh.
and where the leg. When you got to explain it to somebody, okay? You want to make sure that so that they can understand what you're trying to tell them. Because if we keep getting them roundabouts, by the time the last person, nobody know what the hell they're trying to explain, right? So we make sure we get as much detail as possible.
So yeah, you're basically gonna put this shin bone right here, where your pelvis is, right here. Put your shin bone right here, and then you're gonna have to bear down like real hard, real hard. It's probably gonna hurt a bunch, like
It
a lot. And it really don't matter because it's saving your life, but you do that, and then you put your tourniquet on, and then that's it, and then basically your life is saved, but you're gonna lose all of this.
Okay. So again, and going into what he just said, anytime you apply a tourniquet to somebody, they're gonna lose everything on the bottom half of that tourniquet.